Good morning, everybody. Today is Today is Sunday, September 7th, 2014, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time here in California, and it is going to inevitably be a different time wherever you are. So we will give everybody about 4 or 5 minutes to jump in. It looks like we're going to have about a 30-second or so delay today, judging by the quick math I just did. And I see many people are already starting to show up, so this is great. I'm going to get all of our little menus set up here, and then we'll get started. Let me see if I can get this thing bigger. I keep thinking it's got to be so funny for you guys on the other end, because here you get me talking to myself nonstop. And then you see me lean in, and I know I do this. I'm doing the lean in to try to get closer to the thing, and I want to make this chat window longer, and it's not letting me. Why did this let me make this bigger? So while I'm sitting here squinting at the screen, all right, we got Australia, we got some Colorado, we got Canada. So we got a pretty good Denmark. Looks like we got a pretty good international group so far. All right, looks like we're gonna have a fun big group today. I love that you guys are already talking. So again, we'll give everybody 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we'll get started, and that gives me enough time to try to figure out how to get this damn chat window to expand. So I really thought I had it before I could go all the way down with it. I wonder if I go... No, that's not what I want to do. Okay, we'll get this thing figured out. I know last time I figured out a way to pull this thing all the way down. If anybody knows how to make your comment section bigger on YouTube, please type that in. Because apparently I cannot figure this out right now for the life of me. And we'll give it 1 more minute while I give this one last go. How did I do this before? Okay, I don't want to click too much because I'm going to completely blow this, and then I'm going to lose the whole thing. So let's get this party started. How about that? Today is, as I said before, it is Sunday, September 7th, 2014. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This is going to be a really powerful chat today. I'm going to try to change my lighting here a little bit so it's not quite such a glare. Oh, I just made it worse. That's not too bad. Or maybe it's worse. Okay. It is, oh, I just said the date. So anyways, what we're talking about today, I can't see anything now, but it's that light. You guys would think after all these chats I'd have this deal figured out, but obviously not. That works better. So what we'll do today is we will get started. We're going to chat, just like if you guys haven't been here before, the way I usually run these is I will talk for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then afterwards we'll have a Q&A section. The Q&A section, pretty much any question can be asked as long as it is tasteful and appropriate. Okay, so things that are just not cool or inappropriate, we just won't tolerate it. But anything else, I'm happy to answer. And it can be on today's topic or it can be on something else. I have some notes down below me, so if you guys see me glancing down, it's not because I'm losing interest in you at all, it's just because I'm trying to reference my notes. And my handwriting is horrible, so sometimes I have to squint to see what I wrote. It looks like we have a really good international presence today, and a presence from the States too. It looks like we have, I think, is there anybody here from South America? Or South America or Africa? Because I see Asia, I've seen North America, I've seen Europe and Australia. It'd be pretty cool if we got 5 or 6 continents today. I don't know if we've had a chat where we've had all 6. I feel like we've had one before where we had 5. So anyways, what I ask of you all is there's a chat bar to my side which I'm not able to expand in the way I normally do. And so when it's moving, when you guys are chatting and talking, it updates itself. And I can get really distracted because it's in my peripheral vision. So what I ask of you all is, as I'm talking, to please take notes. If you have questions that come up, anything like that, take notes, write them down. I promise you there will be plenty of time to get your questions answered. There is, it seems like about a 30 to 40 second delay on what I'm seeing and what you guys are receiving. So there will be, once we're finished, there will be a little bit of pause where I'll be sitting here going, and that will just be me waiting for you guys to, waiting for the video stream to catch up and finish, and then for you guys to start asking questions. So please keep the typing minimized until I'm done talking, and then I will say, okay, is anybody having questions? And then I'll harp on you guys to ask some questions. A few updates before we get started. So the big one is, oh, well, first, before I get to the big one, I've gotten a few emails about another 28-day flat belly challenge. We are going to do another one. There will be, I'll put up the announcement when I'm going to do signups sometime, not next week, but the following week. The signups will actually become available, I think, I'm planning it the last week of September to do it, run this throughout October. So this will be the last time I do it this year until 2015. And if you guys want to go into the holiday season, really putting a good distance between where you were and where you can be, going into it in shape and healthy, you're not worrying about gaining, the average person gains something like 10 to 12 pounds in the holiday season, you can do the opposite. This is going to be a great program for you. So look for that at the end of September. Now, most importantly, we are 5 days away from September 12th, and as most of you know, right now, the September 12th is going to be a super special day. It's going to be what would have been my friend Paul's 41st birthday, and to try to do something to honor him, which is what today's topic is going to be on, I have set up an event to where there's a twofold intention. One, sunrises and sunsets. Paul absolutely loved nature, and that was something really special for us that we would talk about a lot. Is I made him look at so many sunrises and sunsets photos. You guys have no idea. I mean, I don't know if you guys can all see the wall behind me, but there's a photo there, one over there, one over there. They're all sunrises and sunsets. And you guys know I really enjoy those things. And so there's been talk about doing another sunrise sunset event for the 1,000 Challenge community. I thought, what better way to do it than to do it in honor of him? So on Friday, September 12th, the goal is for everybody to take a picture of the sunrise and or the sunset wherever they are in the world, share it on the 1,000 Challenge page. I'll put them into an album and a video like I did the previous one. I hope that we can get 100 countries participating, and with the level of involvement we've gotten so far, I think we can make it. You guys, it does not matter if your sunrise or sunset is a postcard. If you guys have watched the video in the past, I put a lot of ones in there that were cloudy, overcast. Mine I had that year was one of the foggiest days in Santa Barbara, but it's really good because I want to turn the video into a metaphor, into a teaching tool. So please, if you have a crummy sunrise, if it's cloudy, it's rainy, it's snowy, whatever it is, send that in. Take the picture. Because the point is you're out there and you're participating with the group event as something larger. Secondly, and most importantly, I am set up an event to try to raise $1 million for Reach Out Worldwide. As most of you maybe know, that was Paul's charity, which is near and dear to his heart. I'll share a little bit more about it during the week. But the goal is to raise $1 million. Now, people have started donating this week, which is fantastic. If you've already donated, please take a screenshot of your donation page. What I want everybody to do is on September 12th, post those screenshots onto Twitter, onto Facebook, onto YouTube, onto Instagram, all those things. And I think most of you have seen the hashtags, but I'll make sure everybody sees the hashtags. Let's try to get trending, try to get awareness. And then on September 12th, that's the big donation day. Everybody donates. And I think if we keep growing this at the rate we are, we can really hit $1 million. I think as of right now, it's almost 11,000, maybe a little bit more. So we have a really good foundation on this. We got some momentum going. And you guys, it's going to be an amazing thing. So please, please keep sharing it, keep talking about it. And thank you so much for all you who have. Okay, enough about that. Let's get this party started. Moving forward from grief. How to honor those you have lost. And this is something I want to preference this by saying this is not just for people who have lost. Okay, this is something that those of you who have not lost anybody but anticipate you will at some point, which you will. This is a way for you to start living your life now. Okay, this is a way for you to try to start living your life now and incorporate these tools and concepts I'm going to teach you. Start living your life now so that when that time does come, you're going to be able to enter into that time with no regrets, and you're going to be able to have a plan in place that you can really take the experience and make it into something special, make it into something beautiful. Okay, so their death does not have to be, or they're leaving your life. And let me preface this too by saying, when we talk about loss, when I'm talking about loss here, I'm not just talking about death. I'm also talking about the loss of a loved one. It could be an end of a relationship, a broken heart. You know, your spouse left you, whatever it is, okay? It can be the loss of a pet. You know, this could be a death of a dog or a cat, someone or something really close to you. It can be the end of a friendship. You know, you guys are best friends, and for whatever reason, you're going your separate ways, and there is a loss that comes with that, okay? So loss is something, it can be a broad term, and a lot of times we think of just losing someone only in death. But as many of you know, there's a lot of times there's going to be heartbreak, can be much more painful than death. There can be different separations, transitions in life that can seem more painful than it too. So loss has a pretty broad term, okay? So if you've lost somebody or you anticipate losing somebody, this is a really powerful, what I'm going to talk about is a really powerful way to help you go through the process of it and ultimately honor those people in life. Now, initially when we lose somebody, whether it's death or somebody leaves their life, there's a grief period, there's a mourning period, and there should be. Okay, these people are the most significant people in your life. Right? These people know you better than anybody else. You've devoted a tremendous amount of time with them. You guys have shared routines and rituals and space and laughs and tears and meals and adventures together. And then all of a sudden they're gone. And it leaves this void, it leaves this space in your heart, and it's going to hurt. The most important thing you can do at this time is allow yourself to feel that. Allow yourself to feel it. You guys, so often in life, people bury those emotions. They bury those emotions and try to pretend like they're not hurting, they're not in pain. But guess what? You are, and it's real, and you should feel it. You should absolutely feel it, because if you don't let yourself feel it, if you don't let that stuff come up and those emotions get out of you, at some point all these feelings you're bearing, at some point, all these feelings you're bearing, they are going to implode. They're going to implode, and the way they come up is it's going to be catastrophic. It's going to come up at random in some other relationship you're in. It's going to come up with the next time you lose somebody in death, and all of a sudden you're feeling the loss of that person, and you're feeling the loss of all these other things in the past. Okay, it will come up. When my friend committed suicide several years ago, one of the things that was talked about for him is his girlfriend had left him unexpectedly, and it broke his heart. But then what happened is it brought up all this other pain that he hadn't dealt with. And so it wasn't just one event he was dealing with at that time. It was all these events that he had buried, that he ignored, that he tried to pretend like they weren't affecting him. And guess what they were? They were. If you don't feel the pain now, you are going to feel it at some point, sooner or later, at some point in life. And I promise you, it is much better to feel it now and process that pain. Allow yourself to hurt. Allow yourself to feel. Do it now so that you can free yourself to live your life from a place of love and happiness later on. The worst thing you can do is to be dishonest about the level of impact and importance and significance someone had in your life. Do not minimize that. Okay, do not minimize that. They wouldn't want you to do it, and you owe it to yourself and to them not to do that. So allow yourself to feel. When you're going through this grief and mourning process, allow yourself to feel. As you're going through this process, you are going to feel a tremendous amount of pain. A tremendous amount of pain. You know, and it's uncomparable too. If I were to sit there and somebody says, "Oh, I just lost this person," and I said, "I know what you're going through. I know what it feels like." I don't, because your experience and my experience are very different things. How I feel pain, what I feel pain about, is different than yours. Every loss, whether it's a heartbreak or a death or a separation or whatever it is, every loss is significant in its own way, in that it's unique because it's the dynamic between the two of you. Okay, and that dynamic is irreplicatable, meaning I can't have the same dynamic with my friend and another friend that you had with your friend and your friend, okay, or vice versa. So it's a unique experience, and so it makes it almost unrelatable with the pain. Okay, it makes it almost unrelatable with pain because the pain is based off of your experience with that person. Sure, we'll use words, we'll use language to describe things similar. So, man, I'm so sad, I'm so depressed, I'm so angry, I'm so upset, right? We use words to describe it the same, but the experience is still unique to us. The reason we feel that pain and so intensely, and the reason the pain feels so unrelatable to so many people, is because the level of pain that you are feeling for somebody you've lost, it's there because it reflects the level of love you felt for them. Think about that. For you to feel pain so intensely, it means you love that person so intensely. And when we say love, we're not just talking about romantic love or parent-child love or anything like that. It's love, you guys. This is love from the heart. The amount of love that you have for that person. Your heart hurts. Your mind runs rampant. It hurts so deeply because you loved so deeply. You loved so deeply, and that is such a beautiful thing. That is such a beautiful thing. And this is why it's so important to acknowledge and allow yourself to feel that pain. Because you're not just missing that person's physical presence, you're missing the love that you two shared. And if you don't allow yourself to feel it right now, you are lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. Okay, and I know it can be scary, and I know it can be terrifying to feel that pain, and you feel all out of sorts and discombobulated and sick at times and just, oh, I don't want to think about it anymore. But you guys, let yourself. Because that is the love that you had for that person. That is the love you had for that person. And when you go on in life, you want to be able to look back at that thing, that experience with that person, whoever they are, and see it from a place of love. Not from a place of anger or fear or resentment or anything like that, but from a place of love. And the way you do that is you allow yourself to acknowledge the amount of love you had for that person by feeling what you're feeling, okay? So the level of pain that you're feeling is there because of the level of love you felt for that person. Now, with that being said, that pain, all that emotion that you're feeling, there can be a purpose to it. And one of the most powerful things you can do at this time is to give that pain a purpose. Give that pain a deeper reason. That doesn't mean you're not feeling pain just because that person died or that person broke up with you or that person left you or the person changed. Okay? There can be a deeper purpose to that pain. Make that pain, give that pain your resolution. Okay, make that pain become your driving force to go forward for what you're doing. Okay, I felt a tremendous amount of pain this last several months with losing my friend. Okay, a tremendous amount, and it's really hard for me at times to sit outside and see, how certain people talk about him or what certain people say or the opinions of him or so on and so forth. And I get he was a public figure. Everybody's got their opinions about him, but I know him in a certain way, right? And so I have this pain because I want to miss my friend, but two, I want people to remember him in a certain way. Okay, so my purpose now with that pain becomes, you know what I can do? I can help bring people's attention to Reach Out Worldwide. Something that's really near and dear to his heart. I can help direct people in there so I can ensure that his legacy lives on past that. Okay? So my pain becomes a purpose now. The level of love I felt for my friend can and does become a driving force for helping people, trying to motivate people to get involved in this charity, setting up the event, and talking about it, sharing ideas with it, right? So give that pain a purpose because that pain is ultimately love. Okay, and that was love that you used to direct onto the person. Okay, that was love you used to direct onto the person. So take that pain, take that love that you're no longer able to directly push towards that person and put it into something that you can use to drive yourself forward. Put it into something you can use to propel yourself forward. Something that they might be proud of, something that they might look up to. Okay, in the past, like I've my book I wrote, my first book I wrote, right? A huge portion of that book, a huge inspiration of that book came from a relationship that ended, right? And so I felt this void. I felt like, oh man, I'm feeling all this pain. There's something I can do with it. There's something I can do with this pain to help other people. And so I gave it a purpose. I put it into making the website, put it into writing the book, right? And doing all that. The book I'm writing right now, it's the same thing. There's pain from relationships I've lost. Pain from relationships I've lost. Both people who have died and romantic relationships that have ended. And the pain I'm feeling, the love I'm feeling towards those people, it was so deep that I'm able to go into a deeper place with this book and use it as a purpose to drive me forward. So giving that pain, giving your love a purpose. One of the things that hurts so much right now is that you don't have a place to put that love that you used to have for those people. Put it into something positive and proactive. Give it a purpose. Because if you don't, what does the purpose of it become? It becomes a reason to be depressed. It becomes a reason to be sad. It's fine to feel sad. It's important to feel sad and down at this time because that's a natural thing. You're grieving a loss. You're mourning a loss. But don't let the purpose of the pain you're feeling become depression and sadness and anger. It's not what they would want. Remember, pain equals love. So instead of focusing on the pain, focus on the love. How can you direct that love into something else? Okay? Remember, those people you lost, they live on through you. Okay, and you guys have heard me say this before, and you will hear me say it again and again and again, and I believe this with all my heart. The people you've lost live on for you. They live on through you. So, how you choose to live your life, how you choose to live your life going forward is ultimately going to be how they will be remembered. How you choose to live your life going forward, how you choose to conduct yourself, how you choose to think, to feel, to act, to believe, is ultimately going to be the legacy they live in your life. It's ultimately how they'll be remembered. So if you've lost somebody significant, again, whether it's a breakup, if it's a death, whatever it is, and you choose to become insignificant, that makes them very insignificant to you. If you, however, choose to go on and do something special or something wonderful, and that, you guys, that's scalable for everybody. This doesn't mean that everybody's got to jump up and say, I'm gonna go build the next great monument in Greek sculpture in honor of my loved one. Okay, you don't have to do that. It doesn't mean that you're gonna go out and say, I love this person so much, I'm gonna go swim the English Channel because it's such a statement for how much I love them. It doesn't mean that. It can be simple things like lessons that you guys share to be a better person. And being a better person for you might mean that every day you're going to do one random act of kindness for a stranger. And by doing that, that's keeping that person alive in you because that's what they would have wanted. Okay? I was talking with a friend a couple days ago who recently lost her father. And I was talking with her about it, and she was telling me how her dad always would tell her how much he believed in her and how proud he was of her, and how take that, what you're experiencing, and put it out there into the world because there's going to be people who are going to benefit from it. There's going to be people that can help from it. There's people who are going to relate to your experience, right? And then that's the way to help your dad's legacy live on. Okay, so how you choose to live your life going forward, the things you do, it's a reflection of the person. It's your legacy you leave behind. If somebody dies, if somebody leaves you, and you go into this deep, dark depression, you live your life as being depressed, or you live your life from a place of sadness, that's their legacy in your life then. Is sadness? Is pain? Is that really what you want? These are people you guys loved. These are people you loved, you cared about, you laughed together, you cried together, you shared, you celebrated together, you ate together, you had dessert together maybe, okay? And do you really want their legacy to be sadness and pain? No. No. I'll tell you guys something. Anytime I've ever had a relationship ended in the past, my friends have always told me, Jesse, it takes you a little bit longer than other people to get over these things. And they always tell me that's because I'm real. I know all the tricks that I can look at a person a certain way or dissociate this or change it around like this, or maybe I can be more honest with myself, but I don't want to do that. I only want to see a person from a place of love. Somebody who I loved at some point, that doesn't change with time. And so I only ever want to see that person from a place of love. So I allow myself to feel certain emotions longer because I don't want to become those emotions later on. I only want to be loved in that regard. Same thing when I lose somebody who dies. Okay, I don't want to try to make little of their significance in my life. I also want to be depression. I don't want to be sadness. So I look at them from a place of love, and I use that as a driving force for everything I do. And then guess what? There's sometimes I'm going to experience sadness. You guys, there's been a lot of time these last few weeks in setting up this event and seeing about the love and support coming out. I have literally broken down, sobbing, crying. Like half a box of Kleenex later, just right? Because there's a couple things going on. One, I see how much love and support there is out there, and it's so beautiful. And it's also so exciting for me because again, it makes my friend, it makes Paul very real to me. It makes him so close because this is something we talk about a lot. And so to see it and see this part of him being focused on right now, it makes it really, really real to me. But on the other hand, it also makes it really real that he's not here. You know, I'm doing this thing right now, and he's the first one to want to call and say, dude, you wouldn't believe this. There's like thousands of people right now who are going to take a picture of the sunrise and sunset and are going to donate to Reach Out Worldwide. And it's not on your birthday. There could be, I think we're going to hit this $1 million mark in 100 countries, but I can't do that. I can't do that. And so, you know, there's a mix of emotions, and those things come up, and I allow myself to feel them. I allow myself to feel them and remind myself I feel them because of a place of love. And so if I want to honor my friend or anybody who's gone, I want to honor them from a place of love. So I allow myself to feel sadness in the moment, and then I go back to focusing on love. And even though I can't talk to him because he's not physically here, I will talk to him daily. You know, I'll talk to him daily. I'll talk to him out loud. And I can encourage doing things when you're giving your pain a purpose, when you're living your life in a way to honor them, to create a lasting legacy for them. They will have a constant presence in your life. So talk to them out loud, not just in your mind, because your mind has too many voices, but say something out loud. Ask them what they think. Ask them what they do. Ask them if they're cool with this. There's been so many times where I started doing this and I was like, dude, are you cool with this? Do you think it's okay? What do you think? Is this just crazy for me to even try to do this? What do you think? And then I hear him say something like, well, Jess, you know, you kind of march to a beat of your own drummer anyway, so fuck it, go for it. Right? Which would pretty much be the dialogue anyways. You know, there'd be a little bit more heart-to-heart in there, but that's the gist of it. And I say, oh, okay, cool, you know, that's fine. And then if somebody was to walk by, they're going to see me having this conversation with myself, and they're going to think, wow, this guy talks in different voices to himself. He makes little voices for this, he makes little voices for that, he tilts his head differently. Maybe he should be medicated. I'm not worried about what they think because I want to stay close to the people who matter most. I want to stay close to the people who matter most, so I'm not going to give a shit about what the stranger thinks. I care about what this person thinks. And so I'm going to talk to them because I want that person as a presence in my life, as a force in my life, more than I want this person walking down the street who's going to look at me and say, oh, that person should be medicated. Now, if the person walked by and said, oh, wow, I wish they must be talking to somebody that they lost. That's really cool. I could relate. Be like, oh, dude, come over here. We should chat. We could get along. We could be buddies. Okay, so talk to them. Talk to the people who are gone. Whether it's a relationship, again, that's ended, or if it's a death, or it's, you know, people have gone their separate ways, talk to them. Talk to them regularly because You're going to see that by doing those things, and again, living your life in a way to honor them, they are going to be close. And you will be amazed at some of the answers you're going to get, or the closest you feel. You know, talk to them and be open to listening to them. There's going to be times where you're going to feel this, you know, something, there's like a disturbance in the force, or not even a disturbance, but a shift. Something's different. That's probably their presence. That's probably their presence being nearby. So talk to them. Another thing I think is really powerful to do, and this is kind of a final tool I'll leave you all with, and then we'll get to questions, is to begin each day, begin each and every day reminding yourself of something you're grateful for that you learned from this person, and how, and this is what's really important, and how you're going to put that thing into action. So begin each day with a thought, with a conscious thought of something that you're grateful for, with a lesson you've learned from them, an idea, a concept you've learned from that person. Begin each day thinking about it, being grateful for it, and then tell yourself, today I'm going to put this in action. How? Today this is how I'm going to put this in action. Okay? This is extremely important because we don't want to have things just be left to thoughts. I mean, thoughts are great and whatnot, and I love to think, and we all love to think. You know, the average human thinks something like 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So we're going to think. But what's important, what brings things into life, what gives them something tangible, gives them legs to run, is the action behind it. The action behind it. So put things into action. You guys, I see your questions and comments. So put things in action. So begin each day. A thought, what am I grateful for? What did I learn from this person that I'm so grateful for? And how can I put this in action today? How am I going to put this in action today? Go out and live that day by putting those things in action. You will be blown away. You'll be blown away by how much closer it makes you feel to the person, and how much more positive your life is, and how much more impactful your life is because of it. You know, I do this and I think, okay, well, what would so-and-so do, or what would so-and-so do? One thing I'll give you an idea of is my dad, and I've shared this with many of you before, either over blogs or other YouTube chats, is I remember my dad my dad had gotten diagnosed with colon cancer. He went and had the surgery, and he sat down with the doctor afterwards, and the doctor said, well, Mike, here's the deal. Here's the deal. We got the cancer, and just with the surgery alone, we're 60% certain it won't come back. So you're better than 50-50. Now, if you go and do chemo, it raises your odds up to like 80, 85% or something like that. My dad's thinking about, well, what should I do? And the doctor said, you know, you're better than 50-50. That's pretty good. Chemo is going to be miserable. You're going to feel sick for 2 years, however long it is. He said, with that being said, there's somebody in the room next to us who opted not to have the chemo, rolled the dice with the 60-40, and the cancer came back, and they're going to die now. Okay, so my dad decides to do chemo. And I remember him telling me this, and right before it started, he said, Jess, you know, I was in the hospital, this is what they're telling me, and it made me think, you know, it just goes to show you, you never have to look far to see somebody who has it worse than you. You never have to look far to see someone who has it worse than you. And I remember that every day, and it's one of the most powerful life lessons I've learned, and I'm so grateful for that, because each day when I get up and I think, if, you know, there's times that are going bad, I think, God, you know, this isn't fair, I have it so tough, or whatever it is, you know, not that I do, but, you know, when I go through the hard parts in life, I'll have that dialogue, and then I remind myself, wait a minute, I do not have to look very far to find somebody who has it worse than me. I don't. And none of us do, guys. If we step outside of our own bubble, if we look beyond ourselves, and we look at the world, larger world around us, and you will see there are countless people out there who are going through different struggles or different experiences you that might have it worse than you. If they can do it, so can you. If I can do it, so can you. Okay, so you never have to look far to that's my daily thing. One of my daily gratitude things that I've learned from my father is I never have to look far to see someone who has it worse than myself. And so how I put that action each day is I go through each day and remind myself to look at somebody who has it worse than me, so it helps me be grateful for what I have, right? And go through and say, oh, wow, you know, that person, you know, a lot of times I see things on the news. Go on the news and do my news scan every day and see people in war-torn countries. And I think, wow, I'm so fortunate. You know, I might have this going on, I might have this going on, but at least I can walk out of my house and I don't have to worry about getting shot or a bomb going off. Right? And there are millions of people who have a much greater struggle than me every day. So those are things too. So just to sum up, and then we'll get to questions because I see stuff typing. Allow yourself, the most important thing in the initial time after you lose somebody, again, whether it's death or it's a relationship, whatever it is, allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to feel those emotions. Do not bury it because they will explode or implode afterwards at some point down the road. Allow yourself to feel. Be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Don't listen to what other people say you should feel. Don't listen to what other people tell you what's the right way to do it or not. Your experience, your process is yours and yours alone. So allow yourself to feel whatever is true and real for you. Remember, the level of pain you feel is not just pain, but it's reflective of the level of love you felt for that person. The level of pain you feel is reflective of the level of love you felt for that person. The greater pain you feel means you love that person that much more greatly. Okay, so when you're feeling that pain, give it a purpose because it's not just pain, it's love. Use it as a driving force. Use it as a way to honor them. Put that love that you have for that person into something proactive forward for you and ultimately for them. Because how you live your life going forward, how you choose to live your life each and every day going forward is ultimately how you're going to honor them. Because that's the legacy they're going to leave in your life. If you choose to go through your life and being sad, depressed, and dun-dun-dun, you never change, you go through and say, God, I wish some things would change, but they just don't change, that's their legacy. And is that the legacy of one for you? I doubt it very much. If that was, I do not think you'd be sitting here and taking your time to spend with me or anything like that. Their legacy they want for you is going to be something much greater and much more special than that. So how you take that pain, how you take that love that you have for them, and what you put it towards is ultimately the legacy they're going to leave in your life. Ultimately, the legacy they are going to leave in your life. So put it to a greater purpose. Put it to a greater purpose because don't let their legacy be diminished because you're too selfish to focus on pain instead of focusing on the love and using something with the love. Does that make sense? Talk to them daily. Okay, have conversations. Ask them, hey, what do you think about this? What's your opinion on this? Do you think this is a good idea? How are you doing? Man, I sure miss you. Okay, talk to them daily and be receptive to hearing them. Be receptive to hearing them. Okay, and lastly, begin every day reminding yourself of something that you're grateful for them. Remind yourself of something that you learned from them that you're grateful for, and then what action are you going to do today to put that into practice? What action are you going to take today to put that, what you've learned, into practice? You guys, if you do this, I promise you, a couple things are going to happen. One, you are going to allow yourself to truly heal. So when you come out of this tough time, when you come out of this difficult time, you're not going to need to put a Band-Aid on it. And a Band-Aid is a distraction. It's another relationship. It's pretending like the death wasn't as significant as it is. It's pretending like you're okay. You're going to be truly healed. You're not going to be carrying around the pain and the baggage from into anything else going forward in life. Two, you are going to find that you can have an amazing relationship with these people when they're not in your life, and almost as amazing as you have when they're in your life, because you bring them into such a constant presence. You make them such a constant presence. Okay? And this is just, guys, it's a better way to live. And not because I say it is, but this is a way to live because you're living from a place of love. When you have the choice of living from a place of love or living from a place of pain, okay? But what's important here is we're not ignoring the pain. Pain leads us to love. Pain leads us to love. So feel the pain and then remind yourself of why you're feeling it. Because it comes from here. And then put it to use. By you putting it to use, by you creating something, by you living your life in such a way to honor them, those people are going to be with you forever and ever. And this is a beautiful thing, is you can have people physically present in your life as well as spiritually, metaphorically, in here and in here, and you can carry them with you forever. They don't have to die or be forgotten just because they've died or they've left and moved on. They can still be a powerful presence in here. And you can choose to decide how that is. Okay? You guys, thank you so much for your patience and everything. So, questions. I will sit patiently for the 30 to 35 seconds while the delay catches up, and then you guys go ahead and start asking questions. And I'm going to fiddle with this thing to see if I can make it bigger. All right, first question. I felt severe pain after the sudden loss of my mom for months and couldn't stop crying and was making myself sick. Only way for me to be happy again was pretend to be happy. Is that bad? No, not at all. You know, there's a thing, there's an expression, fake it till you make it, right? And so when we're pretending to be happy, we can start being happy. Now, what's really important in this is that we don't adopt an identity of being fake happy. We don't adopt an identity of just being saying I'm happy but I'm not really happy. Okay, I'm happy but I'm not really happy. I'm fake happy. So here I am being happy, but guess what? I'm not really happy. I'm not really happy because that puts you into a really, really dangerous ground of you're creating an identity, you're creating a role you can never fulfill. But at some point that comes back to get you. Now, if, however, you're choosing to be happy, to pretend to be happy, to try to be happy, even though you may not feel happy at the time, but you want to be, that's completely different. Okay, that's completely different. If you're making the decision to try to be happy, so you're doing more things that would make you happy, normally make you happy, and even though if they don't at the time, but you're trying, you're doing it with the intention to bring happiness back in your life, absolutely. You want to totally do that. You want to totally do that. You do not want to do it when you're trying to create fake happy as a new identity, because that leads to later on. So absolutely fake it till you make it with the intention of making it to be happy, because that's where you're trying to get to. Great question. How do you listen to the person that is gone? Is that the voice in your head that tells you what they would say if they were there? I always feel ridiculous talking out loud to my mother like that. That's an awesome question. So, you know, yes and no to your answer. Now, sometimes for some of us, and it depends on the person, and it depends on, I think, the relationship too. Some of us are going to be better in here, and we can really distinguish voices, and so some of the people, I think, when they're responding to us, they will respond through here, and we'll hear the voices. I'm not good that way. I go too much off of, I have too many voices going on in here. I have too much dialogue, too much other stuff, and then I get to, oh, is it what they really say, or is that me saying it? So I have to go off a feel. And for me, it's a gut thing. It's just this gut thing where I just feel something, like, whoa, there is definitely a shift in the force. There's an energy field moving around. There's something different here. Okay, and that's what I trust. So part of this is in listening to them is trusting yourself. You are going to know, all of us have had that experience at some point, right, where we get that gut feeling that something's just different. Something's a little strange or a little out of the ordinary. Trust that gut feeling, especially when you're trying to talk to people. Okay. Now, if you're somebody who's really good with distinguishing voices, they may very well communicate to you. Okay, but again, verify that with your gut response, your gut instinct. You'll know. Great question. You said that you should not communicate with them in our minds out loud. I tend to do it in my mind. I do when I do it. Do you think they don't hear it when we do it that way, or was it better reason for speaking out loud? Yeah, the better reason for speaking out loud is just because when you're speaking out loud, you're going into a conscious stream. So speaking out loud tends to minimize all the other internal noise. We all have internal noise, right? If we're all thinking 50,000 thoughts at once and we can't remember them all, so much of them is unconscious. So just talking out loud allows a dialogue. And plus, it's a more authentic way of communicating with people. Most of us, when we have somebody present in our life, we're not going to talk to them by staring at them and doing Jedi mind tricks where we're speaking to them telepathically. Most of them are going to verbally speak to them. So just because they're not there, don't change the verbal dialogue. Keep that verbal dialogue alive. Speak out loud because it makes it more. It makes it more real. It makes it more connected. All of us have different tonalities, different personalities, different mannerisms that we adopt to the people that we're talking to. Right? If I have 5 close friends, they're all 5 different people. How I'm going to communicate with them, the jokes I have, the behavior I have, the body language I have, it's different for each of those 5. So using your verbal voice allows you to communicate with them in a way that you would have communicated with them normally. Okay? I'm glad you asked to clarify that. How can I help others in their grieving process? I feel so helpless sometimes when I see my friend grieving his wife who committed suicide last year. That's an awesome question. That's an awesome question. The answer is just by being there. You know, by being there, by loving them, and by loving them without an expectation of anything in return, but just loving them to love them. You know, not trying to pretend like you get what they're going through or anything like that, but be strong. Be strong. You do not ever want to appear weak or helpless, because just by you being there is so powerful and means so much to them. Even though they may not articulate it because they're going through such a horrible time, your strength and your consistency will help them. If they see you wavering, if they see you feeling lost or helpless because you're not able to help and not able to snap them out of it, that's gonna be hard for them, because then they're gonna feel like now their grief is bringing somebody else down. But if they see you strong and consistent, and they see you going forth in life and making some positive changes and living your life in a wonderful way, the way you always would, they're going to be inspired by that, and they're going to grow. They're going to extrapolate strength from your strength. So by being strong, by being consistent, by continuing to move forward for your own hopes and dreams, that's what you can do to really help them. Great question. What would you want oh, that's a good question. So what would you want for people to honor you, or what would you want your legacy to be? That's a really good question. And so let me answer this in two ways. What would I want my legacy to be? I think I've shared with many of you before in different chats that I've only said on my tombstone I want to say that I was able to positively impact the lives of 2 billion people. 2 billion, billion with a B. So, I have to get around still. I have to get around. And I hope that, and what positively impact means is it's different. That doesn't mean I'm obviously shaking the hands with everybody or whatnot, but that maybe I brought a smile to everybody's face, or maybe I got all those people to stop and think, or maybe I got those people to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and see the world in a different way, or to give an extra hug to somebody they love, or to forgive themselves a little quicker, or to love themselves a little more. So that's what I mean by that positively impact. So I sincerely hope that's my goal, that I make it to that. And how would I want people to honor me? I would hope that people can look inside themselves. The greatest honor that anybody could do for me is for somebody to look inside themselves and to be able to look at what I meant to them in their life, and then trust whatever that is to know how I'd want them to honor me. I think one of the coolest things when people can honor somebody is when people have the opportunity in life to really get to know somebody. And incidentally, the way you get to know somebody is you don't get to know them by having conversations or all that. You get to know them by really listening, paying attention to little things, asking some questions that go a little deeper, listening to what they have to say, paying attention to how they respond. Okay, it's not going to be chit-chat about sports necessarily. I would lose my mind if somebody honored me by giving a sports speech about Jesse was all about winning one for the Gipper. Oh, you guys just missed the whole point of it. Okay, but I would hope they'd honor me by what my significance, if any, it was in their life. Good question. I like that one. By the way, Jesse, when is your birthday? Oh, so this is actually a really good question. So and I talk about this some in my book coming up, when I've been writing my book, and I think I'll share this with you all now. When is my birthday? So I have always had an aversion to my birthday just based off of certain experiences in childhood and how I began to view myself. And I keep my birthday very quiet. I've had friends and significant people in my life over the years who wanted to celebrate my birthday, and I've run and hidden from them because I would come into my birthday with this tremendous feeling of guilt and this anxiety and this heartache and everything else, and I didn't want to be a burden to anybody or anything like that. And I felt really bad for people because there's people who love me and they wanted to celebrate it, and I hide it because of my baggage I carried from childhood. I had an experience earlier this year that really forced me to stop and look at myself and ask myself some questions about things that I hadn't dealt with, that I thought I had, but I was bearing. And I was seeing how those things were coming up in significant relationships. And when I started asking myself those questions, I realized that one of the things that I really need to deal with was my birthday. So my birthday is January 17th, and this next year my intention is to actually do something to celebrate it, to allow people to participate in it, to allow people to celebrate it, to allow people acknowledgement, and for me to be present and allow myself to receive it. Okay, this year I'm not gonna run away and hide from it or anything like that. I'm gonna really, my intention is to celebrate it because it's my baggage and I'm tired of carrying it around. So I'm glad you asked that question because it's good accountability for me to put it out there. I would like to get a zero limit shirt. How do I do that? Do it on go on my website, and on the main page I think there's a shop Jesse. You just go on there and you can find it on there. And you guys who have, I posted a thing a little bit ago about updating the zero limit shirts. Please post them to the 1,000 challenge page, your pictures that you have with zero limit shirts, or the today I challenge myself to, or the 1 year 1,000 challenge shirts. Please post them directly on the 1,000 challenge page, and I will start updating that album as I see them come in. Because I want to get some new ones in there. Our community's grown quite a bit, so it'll be fun to see them spread out around the world. It's my 40th birthday on Wednesday. Happy early 40th. That's a good milestone one. So what I encourage you to do is set some goals, set some intentions for the next 40 years. How do you want the next 40 years? What have you learned from the first 40, and how do you want to make the next 40 extra special? My problem is that after almost 3 years, I cannot visualize my mom in her normal state before she fell seriously sick. I cannot feel sad. I cannot feel I said goodbye, though she actually died in my arms. I can't relate specifically to your experience, but I can relate to some extent. My grandma, who I was extremely close to, has been dying from Alzheimer's for the last several years, and she's at that place now where, I haven't had a conversation with her in 5 years. And she is completely, for the most part, she's a vegetable right now. She has to wear a diaper. She's, shitting herself I'm not going to mince words. That's what's happening. It breaks my heart every time I see her because she would be so horrified to see how she's existing right now. And I want to remember her. My grandma was a huge germaphobe, and so when I was a kid and we'd be at her house, and I only got to see her maybe once a year. When I would, she'd oftentimes follow me and my cousins around with a Lysol can, and spray after to make sure there's no germs everywhere. And I want to remember her like that, but it's hard because every time I see her, it minimizes those memories. So for you, what I would say for you is this. And for anybody who's going through this, first of all, for saying goodbye, again, you don't have to say goodbye because even though they're physically not present, they are present. I sincerely believe that. And whether you believe it from a spiritual place or from God or from the universe or Buddha or whatever your belief is. Okay, if you have a belief that they're there. And talk to her. Tell her goodbye. Tell her you wish you could have said goodbye. And then instead of trying to visualize her, instead of trying to see her, feel her. Your feelings are going to be a lot more honest than your mind. All of us tend to forget as time goes on. You can sit around and have a conversation with 5 close friends about a cool event that happened 5 years ago. Everybody's going to remember it differently. I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories told with close friends that I was a part of. And the same story gets told over the years, but every year some dynamic of the story changes. I remember it differently. They remember it differently. But that's human nature. We're all going to remember and experience things differently. So feel your memories. Don't think them. Don't visualize them, but feel them. Feel the love you had with your mom. Feel the connection with your mom. By doing that, that's what's going to keep it real. That's what I do with my grandma, and it helps a tremendous amount. Great question. You guys have some awesome questions today, by the way. Thank you so much for asking these. So you're saying you got a lot more sharing of your postings. Yes, you absolutely. Oh, so for postings, you guys, we have anybody who's been participating and doing the sharing for the International Sunrise Sunset Day and the 1 million for Row. Again, you guys, with all my heart, like I can never thank anybody enough for it, and seeing this happen and seeing this come to fruition, I really believe we're going to make this happen. And I have an idea for what I want to do with the video. I'll do a video and put everything in an album like I did with the previous one. And it's going to be an amazing experience. And I'll close again with just a little bit about that. So yes, please keep sharing. Get your friends involved. Keep inviting people. I actually had a dream last night that I got some notification on Facebook that said 6 of your friends have reached the maximum amount of people they can invite. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Good for you. Okay, these are just comments. You guys, I'm reading your comments, but and I appreciate some of them are directed towards me. I'm just gonna do the answer the questions right now. And we have time. We have, we started a few minutes late, so we'll go for another 10 minutes or so as long as you guys keep having questions. Totally changing the subject, but did you like Alaska? I'm going next week. Oh, Alaska's awesome. If anybody ever has a chance to go, now, let me preface this by saying, I don't think you're going to see me back there in the dead of winter anytime soon. I definitely do not foresee that anytime in the near future, especially this coming winter. They were saying that they're anticipating, the Farmer's Almanac is predicting the coldest winter on record. And I was asking, what does that mean? And people were telling me, oh, that might mean we have a week in a row of minus 50s. It might mean it dips down to the minus 70s one day. And when I left, it was in the low 40s. And I was thinking, minus 70s, you mean it literally could be 110 degrees colder than it is right now? And this one person looks at me and they're like, yeah. I'm trying to conceptualize that, thinking, when it's 50 degrees warmer than it is right now, I really like that weather. I don't like this cold. 110 degrees cool, or whatever the hell it is. Whew. Okay. With that being said, Alaska is so beautiful, and I did not get to see nearly enough of it. And I fully intend in the future to go back there, take a month, do a road trip, go all around the countryside with my camera and everything else, and it's unreal. It's spectacular. You're gonna love it. If you like beautiful landscapes, wild animals, amazingly fresh air, you'll love it. One more thing, you encourage someone to start posting their writings on a blog. They now have 9,000 views. That's awesome. So that's cool. So that person's putting it out there, and they have 9,000 views. That's probably 9,000 people out there who have been able to benefit from their story, who have been able to relate to their experience in some way. That's cool. Thank you for sharing. I'm 24 today. Oh, cool. Happy birthday. Happy 24th. I'm celebrating a dear friend's birthday later today, too. So happy birthday. It's good. September seems to be a good time of year for birthdays. What are any other questions? You guys have any other questions at all? We have a few more minutes, so I'll hang around for a few extra minutes if you guys still have questions. How old will you be in January? You mean how young I'll be? Do you mean how young I'll be? I feel like part of me will be 10, and I hope that part of me always stays 10. I just thought about buying this Superman onesie, which I'll post a picture of the other day, because I'm still not totally sold on if I'm going to get it or not, but it's pretty funny. So I think part of me will be 10, but by the chronological standard, the measurable, I will be 33. I don't even know how that's possible, but I will be 33. Boy, you guys are getting all the inside information today. Whew. Are the prints you sell poster size? For the photos, I think there's a lot of options for them. I have it set up on a website that specializes in photography, and I think you can order. I'm pretty sure you can order poster size prints off there. I know you can order. I mean, obviously this size, but I'm pretty sure you can order poster size prints too. Where can I get a Zero Limit shirt? Just go to my website. On the front of the page, there's going to be a section that says Shop Jesse, and you just click on that, and it'll take you right there. What is your Sunday going to entail? I am going to, as soon as I'm done here, I'm headed to the gym to work out and do a super intense workout, because after that I'm going to a brunch to celebrate my friend's birthday. And then I will, after the brunch, I'll probably hang out with that group for a little bit, and then come home and have a little bit of, I'll probably have a few hours of work I'll want to do tonight. So that's probably how I'll wind it down, and maybe at the end of the day I'll watch an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What is your favorite challenge you've done? You know, honestly, it was from when I did the 1,000 challenge. My favorite one was the sunrise sunset, because at that point, when all these people participated, and the 1,000 challenge community was nowhere near as big as it is now. I think at that point there was maybe 4,000 of us or so. Now it's over 40,000. We're rapidly approaching that 50,000 number before the end of the year, and there's only 4,000 of us, but there was hundreds of people from all over the world participating in this event, and there was something like 33 different countries sent in photos of either the sunrise or sunset, and I think there was like 25 or 30 of the states, in the United States sent in photos, and it was just such a cool community event because my intention behind it was, at the time, people have been talking about not being able to travel, not being able to, and so I wanted everybody, and I wanted to myself included, to be able to experience the sunrise and set around the world. And so everybody could feel that much closer together because, we all have that. We all share the same sun. We all share the same world. And it was such a neat thing to see it and see the enthusiasm behind it. And it's still like, when that happened on that day, I remember, when they came in, and the next day I got all the photos and I started putting them together. And I sat in front of the computer for, God, it must have been 8 or 10 hours putting together the video. And I remember putting together the video, and at one point I'm literally falling asleep at my computer because I'm so tired from staring at this thing for so long. I'm like, no, I got to get this video done. I want to get this done. Everybody put all this effort into it. They deserve to have the video right away. And I did it, and it was such a neat experience. And I remember sitting there watching the video, and I was wow. And not because I thought, oh, I did such a good job on the video, but because it was so neat to see so many people come together and to make that happen. And it was really special. So that's it. Oh wait, let's see. How do you get over the regrets of not telling someone goodbye? I found a couple people never got to say goodbye, and now I have just sleep disorders. It's a fantastic question. Because one of my biggest regrets, or probably my biggest regret I have in my life, is not getting to tell my dad goodbye, not creating the relationship with my dad I could have. I never did the guy things with the adult things. I never had a beer with my dad. All those things. I took a lot of it for granted, and again, those details go into much beyond what we have time for in this chat. I talk about it a lot in the book that I'm writing. But here's the thing, you hear the thing, live your life with no regrets, and I think that's wonderful and all, and I think it has its place, but I have regrets about my dad, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm actually quite thankful for it, because what those regrets remind me of is to try to live my life in such a way where I don't have regrets with any other relationships. Whether, again, with friendship, romantic relationship, people who die, whatever it is. So those regrets that you have, turn them into a lesson. Turn them into a powerful lesson that reminds you of how, again, you want to conduct your life, how you want to live your life going forward. If you don't want to have regrets with anybody else, if you've already learned, if you don't want to have regrets with anybody else, say what you need to say, communicate, talk to people, put it out there, tell them how much they mean to you. Okay, don't leave anything unsaid, because then when time goes by, I had such a special relationship with Paul, partly because of what I learned from my dad. So him and I, we totally sure we loved each other. We totally sure how much we appreciated each other, how proud we were of each other. And it was awesome because when he died, it went so quickly that I didn't get to say goodbye, but I still said, I'd said so much. And so I don't have that regret with him that I had with my dad. So use those regrets as lessons. Use those regrets as lessons because they happen for a reason. You are still alive, and there's a reason you're still alive, which means there's a lot of people that you can still pass on those lessons to. Just by sharing it, by asking that question, all the people here who are watching this live and who are going to watch it later on can benefit from that. Okay, so that right there is a powerful reminder. It's something that you can use those regrets as lessons and to put into the world. Make sense? Great question. Have you ever hiked the Appalachian Trail? I have not, but it is high on my list. As soon as my body is strong enough to start doing more hiking, the Appalachian Trail is going to be one of the first spots I go. What is your favorite place you've traveled? That's a great question. It really depends. It totally depends. There's certain places I like because of the memories there. There's certain places I like because of, the people I was with. There's certain places I like just because of the ambience. I'm not much of a city person. I don't really care for big cities that much. but my favorite city by far is New Orleans. I love New Orleans. I loved Australia because I was there with two really good friends, and it was a really cool time. And it was one of the first it was one of the first trips I'd really taken, so it was a neat experience for that. I love going to places where it's really beautiful. I love beautiful nature places. Those are the ones I really enjoy. So I love different places for different things. There's parts in Europe I absolutely love because of the people I was there with. There's parts of Europe I love because of the beauty of it. Same thing with South America, the parts I've been to. So but when I travel, my real joy in traveling is the nature stuff. So that's what the part I loved more is getting away from everything, getting out in the world, taking my camera with me, and being able to see everything and take pictures of it. Who is your favorite character in Buffy? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. Depends. I love Buffy and Angel. So Buffy and Angel as a couple, I loved that. I loved Spike until him and Buffy started getting together. Then I didn't really like that at all. So that would probably be it. Faith, I had definitely a crush on Faith when she was around. I was bummed when she left. I was, oh, come on, bring Faith back. I've been watching a few of the episodes again, and I forgot how cool Giles is. Giles is such a good father figure, and he plays his part so well. So Giles is awesome too. I like all of them. The only character I didn't like was Dawn. Dawn was the only one I did not like. I think all the characters in Buffy were amazing. They all did such a good job. Dawn was the only one I could not stand. Are you sharing part 3 of your book today on your blog? No, I'm not. Part 3 will come later on. It'll probably be still a few more weeks. I really want to have the focus be on everything that's going on with the event on Friday. So what I'm going to do with the blog is, again, probably I don't know if I'm going to post it today. I think I'm going to save the blog and combine it with a video again like I did. That's just what feels right. And I'll probably post that again on Wednesday during the normal weekly video. And then the following blog or two will probably be about everything else. And so I probably won't be posting part 3 until end of the month, beginning of October. Okay, you guys, we have time for one more question. Did you get to see the Great Ocean Road while in Victoria? No, I did not. One more question. Anybody, one final question? So while you guys are typing that one final question, just quick reminder, Friday, September 12th is a big day. This is my way of trying to honor, my best friend who I lost completely unexpectedly. You guys who have shared and have made this possible so far, thank you so much. It's growing the way it is because of you all. So I ask that you all keep sharing, keep inviting friends, keep inviting family members. Make sure they know about the sunrise, sunset, and Reach Out Worldwide. The way it's going to work is on September 12th. You're taking a picture of the sunrise and or sunset, wherever you are in the world. You're going to post that picture to the 1000 Challenge page, not to the event page, but to the 1000 Challenge page. You're going to use some of the hashtags that are on there, okay? So we can try to get the sunrise thing trending. Then what you're going to do is on September 12th, if you have not already done so, you're going to make a donation and get friends to donate to Reach Out Worldwide. You're going to take a screenshot of that donation page, and you're going to send that out on all your social media with the hashtags that I have on there, and we're going to try to get that trending so people know that, people get awareness, let's get a buzz about it. This is the thing that I tell you guys more than anything else, this is what Paul would want for his legacy. I know that for an absolute fact because I've talked to him about it. This was something that meant the world to him, and so the way I can honor my friend is to ensure that his legacy that he'd want is living on behind him. He meant it when he said he wanted to be remembered as a good guy and a kind person, and he was very passionate about Reach Out Worldwide, and I'll share a little bit more about that in this coming week. And I hope that, and it means the world to me that you all are doing what you can do to help me honor my friend, and it's something I will never forget. And somebody just asked about the challenge. What's my favorite challenge I've ever done so far? The first sunrise sunset was number 1. I can quickly feel that this is going to end up being probably one of the most special things to me, at least, I've ever done. So, and this wouldn't happen with all of you. Just like the sunrise sunset, the first one wouldn't have happened with all of you. So, from the heart, you all, thank you. So, final question. Is there anybody that hadn't come up? Nope, looks like we're good. So I'm going to go to the gym and exercise so I can go eat a ton of food at brunch. You guys have an amazing day, and thank you all for spending your time with me. And I look forward to doing another one of these in October. Start thinking if any of you have some suggestions or ideas of what we could talk about next time. Definitely share them, and I look forward to it. I really enjoy spending this time with you guys, and I hope you guys find value in it. And if you guys do find value in these videos, please share them with friends, share them with family members, put them out there. It helps me when you guys share the stuff that I teach, when you guys share the things I talk about, it helps me get that much closer to my goal of 2 billion people. I am not going to reach 2 billion without all of you, so I deeply, deeply am grateful for all of you, and thank you all. Okay, guys, have an amazing Sunday day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever time it is for you, and I will see you guys all soon, and I'm excited for Friday. It's going to be an amazing, amazing day. Okay? I'll talk to you guys later.